What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my Forma building guide for this month's Hall of Forms featuring Summer Lyn, Brave Eliwood, Pent and Erk. We have 8 new skills added to the Hall of Forms pool up to the legendary Xander banner. So let us start with Summer Lyn. She's a flying blue archer with deep blue bow as her preferred weapon. This just provides her with +3 speed and it also has effective damage against armored units. And because this is an old weapon, all it does is give her +4 to all of her stats in combat. So Summer Lyn is going to be a pretty popular unit out of this batch because she is going to be next in line for the seasonal refine this year. And she's going to be getting her weapon refine in October because next month is the Choose Your Legends weapon refines. So you'll have to take that gamble if you want to spend your Forma Soul on her. And that happens a lot in Hall of Forms where we get units before their weapon refines, like Halloween Murph for example. So if you're a big fan of Lyn and if you think that she's going to be getting a good weapon refine, then you can definitely pick her up. And she does not really have too much competition in that class. Summer Elyncia is a free-to-play unit and she's also in the same class. But if Summer Lyn ends up getting a good weapon refine, then she's going to be a lot more unique than Elyncia, especially with that armor effective damage. Because she is Lyn is usually going to be, connected with some kind of fire sweep effect or wind sweep effect. So if that ends up becoming her weapon refine, that would be really good. Now as for a range flyer, the premium skills that you can get are going to be pretty straightforward. Now as of this Hall of Forms, we do have Whitecap Bow in the Hall of Forms pool, which is the bow of Elyncia. So by getting this, you're going to be able to save some feathers and grails pretty much. And this is going to be a pretty nice alternate weapon so that you can quad attack. But if you want to get some other premium bow, then Spendthrift Bow or Fire Sweep Bow are going to be the options. And just in time, we also have Speed Defense Fortress in the Hall of Forms pool. So that is going to be her best slot B skill. And for Slaughter, you can try and get Attack Speed Catch for the most offenses because she is going to be needing that, especially with her preferred weapon that has the armor effective damage. And Attack Speed Unity can also be a pretty good option. You can just get Speed Defense Rain, which can give you the consistent debuffs in the combat, but you can always try and get the Menace skills like Attack Speed Menace or Speed Defense Menace, which is going to be ending up having good synergy with the Cat skill. Unfortunately, in this Hall of Forms, the Oath Force skill is not going to be available. And because she's an archer, you can of course try and get Deadeye, the premium special for archers, but if you don't have much luck getting this, then Ruptured Sky could also work. Range flyers don't really have a lot of options, so this is going to be the ideal Summer Lyn Forma build that you can try and get. And if she ends up getting a good weapon refine, then she could definitely make amazing use of these premium skills. Brave Eliwood is a Choose Your Legends 3 unit, and he did end up getting his weapon refine last year for his Ninny's Ice Lance. So this does have effective damage against dragons as well as beast units. And recently we definitely have got some strong beast units, especially Askers, so that can definitely help him. And this weapon also provides him with +3 speed. This weapon can also give him +10 to all of his stats in combat and also gives him partial null follow-up, the offensive version of null follow-up, which can basically allow you to pierce through follow-up negation effects. And finally can also provide him the dodge effect, which can go up to max 40% damage reduction. So Brave Eliwood is definitely in a pretty competitive class type, being a Lance Cavalier, and unfortunately he suffers from the curse of being the second Choose Your Legends unit, and back then they didn't really get an exclusive skill. So compared to Brave Erika and Chrom, he's missing out on an exclusive skill. Erika can hit really hard because of the true damage that she can get, and she also has flat Canto 2 and also Null Guard effect. On the other hand, we have the new Brave Chrom who has the special acceleration in his weapon. He also has -1 special cooldown just like Erika, and he can just copy any kind of status effect out of his assist. Brave Chrom can also get the damage reduction on foes first attack by 40%, and this is not a speed based damage reduction, and he only gets the damage reduction on the first attack. So it's not like a full dodge effect like Brave Eliwood, but still the damage reduction can help him tremendously in the mix phase. Brave Erika can also get 30% damage reduction with her weapon on foes first attack, and she also has partial null follow-up just like Eliwood. So these new Cavaliers definitely give him quite a lot of competition, and the main niche of Eliwood is with the dragon effective and the beast effective damage. So if you're a big Eliwood fan, then you can definitely try and get him, especially if you have him at higher merges. But at low merges, as a one-off copy, he's not going to be stronger than a lot of these other Cavaliers that many people do have because they were also a Choose Your Legends unit. So if you want to get some premium skills on him, then I do have a couple of builds. The first build is going to be a more player phase build, so you can just get his weapon in the Hall of Forms itself, and by getting his weapons refined, you're going to be able to save some divine dues, so that is really great. But if you're a big Eliwood fan and if you've already refined his weapon, then you can try and get some alternate premium weapon like Ninja Naginata Plus or its curtains. But if not, then you can definitely try and save the divine dues by getting this weapon refined. You can go with Sword Sparrow as an upgrade to his Swiss Sparrow from his base kit, and this is going to be pretty good for the player phase so that he can get the healing, and that is going to be really good for making him tanky with the dodge that he gets out of his weapon and the offensive null follow-up that he also has. Nia Trace is going to be the best slot B option to pick up for Eliwood, and even if you run him with Wind Sweep, this is still going to be a pretty good option to pick up. A lot of people do run him with Wind Sweep because of the partial null follow-up in his weapon, but Nia Trace does give you that movement utility, and with Sword Sparrow, you're going to be healing up the HP, so taking damage is really not that big of a deal. You can also run Attack Speed Menace on him so that he can have better player phase initiations, and it can also help him get more out of the dodge built into his weapon refine. Rupture Sky is usually a special everyone gets, but here it can be really helpful for Eliwood, for especially the Dragon and Beast matchups, on top of the effective damage that he can get. Eliwood can also be run as a mixed phase cavalier because of his weapon, giving him +10 to all of his stats, and also having the dodge effect. So this is a mixed phase build that he can run by running attack speed catch 4 in his slot A. So this is going to be active in both phases, unlike Sword Sparrow, and it also has good synergy with the Smoke 4 skill. Nia Trace is pretty nice for positioning him for the mixed phase, because in the enemy phase his weapon does need him to be within 2 spaces of an ally. And finally, for the slot C, you can try and get Attack Smoke 4, which effectively gives him a bootleg full null follow-up, because the partial null follow-up is present in his weapon, and the other half of null follow-up, which can prevent the follow-up attack of the auto follow-up enemies, you can pretty much try and get that from Attack Smoke 4 in a way, because it does provide you the follow-up negation, and because Eliwood is going to be pretty fast, he can usually stop the auto follow-up attacks of those slower units. So in a way, he can basically have full null follow-up with this build, and Attack Smoke 4 can also help him be a lot more bulky, which is good for mixed phase. You can also try and run Speed Smoke 4 if you want to at higher investment for getting more damage reduction, but I do like Attack Smoke 4 quite a lot on Eliwood because he can just go in, attack, get the follow-up negation, and essentially have full null follow-up with dodge as a cavalier. You can also get menace skills if you want to, so he definitely has quite a bit of options for his slot C. Now the final build is going to be for the Eliwood enjoyers who have him at max investment, so if you already have the other skills like the cat skill, then you can try and get distant dart or distant pressure so that he can make use of the spectrum +10 that he gets out of his weapon and the dodge, so you can actually be pretty bulky as a mixed phase cavalier with this kind of build. And distant dart can help you get more speed for the dodge, and if you don't really care too much about the range matchups, then you can run the good old attack speed catch 4 and that should still be fine. And for his slots, you can run Speed Smoke 4, which can give him 64% damage reduction along with his weapon, so the damage reduction will stack up multiplicatively. Now the unfortunate part of this build is that he doesn't have full null follow-up with this kit, so he's still going to be susceptible to the auto follow-up enemies, so that's why Attack Smoke 4 is still going to be an option if you don't really want the extra damage reduction and just want better matchup against those kinds of opponents. Pent is a green infantry mage with Tome of Reglay as his preferred weapon. This can provide him with +3 attack, and at start of turn he can provide Time Pulse effect to himself and any kind of mage within 2 spaces of him. So this is basically a mage Time Pulse which can help flying mages and even cavalry mages to take advantage of this and pre-charge their specials. So just an example, Legendary Lilina usually runs Gifted Magic as her special, but if you run her with Pent, then you can basically run a stronger AoE special like Blazing Flame or Blazing Wind. He also gets +6 attack and speed with this weapon if he's above 75% HP. He's a green mage nuke, and he definitely has competition in that category with Legendary Male Byleth, who can also provide the drive null follow-up support, but Pent can be pretty fun with that mage time pulse even as a one-off copy, especially for something like Ether Raid's defense. Now I know you see that G-Dual Infantry 4, but keep in mind that you cannot fodder off any kind of Forma unit. It's physically impossible to fodder them, so only get Pent if you want to use him, and he does have decent niche with that mage time pulse. So he already comes with a pretty decent base kit, but we can definitely try and get even more premium skills. So you can just get Ruptured Sky as a special, and you can try and run some other alternate green tome like Pelagian Torch or Snow Globe, which are quite premium. You're going to be using his preferred weapon at the end of the day, but still these are good premium weapons to get because as it is, he's going to be coming with his base kit. For his slot A, you can run something that can give him more firepower. So attack speed ideal is going to be the best skill for providing you with +9 attack. And you can also run attack speed unity if you want to, especially at higher investment. You can also run null follow-up in his slot B, and it is going to be helping him in a lot of matchups, especially against a lot of the blue tanks. Null follow-up is not exactly the most rare skill because it is available in divine codes and on so many units, but there are unfortunately not too many premium slot B skills for mages, and the other premium option I guess you can get is Special Spiral. He already has the perfect slot C skill in Time Pulse with his base kit, so at this point we're just trying to get an alternate slot C skill that can be premium. So you can try and get a Menace skill, Joint Drive skill, or even Blue Feud, which can be helpful in Ether Raid's defense, so you can just get any of those skills. And if you're getting the Plagian Torch, then Attack Resistance Menace does have good synergy with that. Again, unfortunately, the Attack Speed Oath 4 skill is not available in this Hall of Forms, otherwise that would have made for a pretty nice alternate slot C skill. The final unit of this batch is Erk, who's a red infantry mage, and he's from the 3-star 4-star pool, so he's definitely a pretty good merge project option if you're a big fan of him. Now I would only suggest to get him as a Forma Soul if you want to plus and merge him, because only then it is going to be worth it, because he doesn't have a preferred weapon and he definitely faces a lot of competition as a red infantry mage. But he's actually pretty fast with that base 39 speed and also having a super boon in it, and Erk is a really popular character, so a lot of people do have him as their merge project, and this is pretty much going to be our best chance of getting the most premium skills on him and saving a ton of fodder. So if you want to give him a better weapon, then Luminous Grace Plus is going to be an option, which can heal you up for 10 HP at start of every turn, and it can also provide you with extra attack and speed. Now unlike the Foxdome that he comes with, this weapon actually functions in both phases, which is really good. And you can also try and get Unity Blooms Plus, which gives you the in-combat healing and also gives you a bit more bulk at the cost of not providing you with any kind of extra speed. Attack Speed Ideal is going to be a good offensive skill that you can run, and Attack Speed Unity is also going to be a pretty good option. Now again, just like for Pent, you can get Null Follow-Up in his slot B, and there are not too many premium options, and if you already gave him Null Follow-Up, then you can try and get Loud Speed Resistance or Special Spiral. For slot C, you can give him Speed Smoke 4 because with the Null Follow-Up, he can get that dodge effect, and because he can reach pretty high amounts of speed, it can help him, and the Ideal skill does have good synergy with the healing of the weapon, and this is definitely a really premium skill. But if you want to have some other options for slot C, then Attack Speed Menace could be an option, which also has good synergy with the Ideal skill. Joint Drive Speed could also be an option, especially if you're running him with a Unity skill, so both of these skills pretty much need you to be within 2 spaces of an ally. The next month's Hall of Forms is going to be a Sacred Stones Hall of Forms, and these are my speculation of the units that we might see. So the first batch I think is a bit more likely. And in the red pool, we don't really have too many options. We just have Summer Joshua, Noel, and Yuan. So I think Noel could appear just like Erk appeared in this Hall of Forms. And then because we got Geralt as a better Lance Cavalier in the free-to-play pool, I think Ducil would be someone they could just put there just for that reason. And they've never really, held back from running Fallen units in these Hall of Forms pool. So that's why Fallen Leon definitely has a pretty good chance, and they also put units from the Divine Codes in Hall of Forms many times, and Ducil, Leon, and La Rochelle even. Now with Sarah that we had in the 3-issue Hall of Forms, I think they are going to be putting the staff units as long as they have a preferred weapon. So young La Rochelle does fit into that criteria, so we might get her. I would also like Young Innes to be a colorless option, and he's also a very popular merge project. The second batch has got a lot more seasonal units with Summer Joshua, Summer Loot, which they love putting these 4-star seasonal focuses, and then we also have Summer Selena, and Cormac could be the grail option here. He is a couple of months away from his weapon refine, I believe like 7 months to be exact, so he could be an option, and again he's going to be that kind of gamble refine unit which they love to put in Hall of Forms. So let me know in the comments what you think about my speculation and which units you would like to see, and come back to this video next month to see if I was right or wrong. So I hope you all enjoyed this Hall of Forms video. Make sure to share this video with your friends who are trying to build up any of these units, and if you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like and a comment. Helps me tremendously, and if you really enjoyed, you could always support me directly by using super thanks or by becoming a YouTube member. And for more FEH videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as the hopes of people who were expecting Brave Hector in this Hall of Forms. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.